Hello friends, this lecture is brought to you by A.S.S Science Foundation. Our team brings the solution for student community use. So let's start today's discussion. Today we will further be discussing the 2018 December paper with the solution. So here it goes. Question number 6. This question is from the unit Air, which is one of the very important units from the exam point of view. This question says that the dominant mechanism of deposition of aerosol particles in the size range 5 to 10 micrometer in the respiratory tract are: first, sedimentation; second, impaction; third, diffusion. And you have to choose from the correct code given below. So, particle deposition occurs predominantly by diffusion, impaction, and sedimentation. But for comparatively large size particles, which is asked in question, that is 5 to 10 micrometer, diffusion does not take place that effectively, because for diffusion to take place, the size of particles should be small. And depending on the breathing rate and species, total respiratory tract deposition can be in various percentages for different size of particles of different sizes. So as given in the explanation we have attached, hence the correct option will be option number 3. Only 1 and 2, that is sedimentation and impaction, are the dominant mechanisms for the particle size 5 to 10 micrometer. Moving on to next question. Question number 7. This is also one of the interesting questions from analytical techniques part. It says, which of the following analytical techniques can help elucidate an elemental fingerprint without the need to analyze the material destructively? And the 4 options are given below. There could be many analytical techniques as provided in the explanation, but particularly 2 techniques, that is scanning electron microscope with energy dispersive X-ray, that is SEM-EDX, and X-ray fluorescence, that is XRF, are the only non-destructive and non-invasive analytical techniques among many. That's why here we will choose option 2, X-ray fluorescence spectrometry, as they have asked without the need to analyze the material destructively. Hence, XRF is our correct answer. Moving on to next question. Question number 8. Very interesting, and this is from the unit Energy, which is one of the very important units from numerical point of view, because these days 1 or 2 numericals are always asked in exam from this unit. So question 8 says, if the fractional wind velocity drop at the rotor of a windmill is 0.1, the coefficient of performance of the windmill is. So as we know, when we calculate performance or power of windmill, we use Bates theory or Bates equation or formula, which is P equal to KCP rho AVQ, where P is power of windmill, KCP is Bates limit or coefficient of performance, and this is usually taken as 16 by 27, which is equal to 0.593 in usual cases, because when the interference parameter B is equal to 1 by 3, this coefficient of performance reaches its maximum, that is 0.593. It can be seen in the graph also that we have attached below, and you can see that when B is 1 by 3, coefficient is 0.593. So moving on, then there is rho in the formula. Rho is basically density of air, which is usually 1.25. A is area of rotor of windmill, and B is wind velocity. Now, for this question, as asked in the question above, drop is 0.1 meter per second. So we have to form two equations. For one equation, we will take velocity as V1, which will be equal to V, and for second, we will take velocity as V2, which is equal to V minus 0.1 V, as the drop is by 0.1. Keeping that in mind, it will be equal to 0.9 V. So here is our two equations. We don't need to put values of rho and A, because this will be cancelled in our next step. Then we will equate both the equations. KCP1 rho AVQ will be equal to KCP2 rho A 0.9 V whole cube. Only 0.9 V cube. So rho A and V will be cancelled out. That's why we are not putting values in this question. And after all the calculations, KCP2 comes out to be 1.37 KCP1. But they are asked how will the coefficient of performance of how will it get affected, means how if fractional wind velocity is dropped by 0.1. So KCP2 minus KCP1 will give us the answer, and as we have already calculated, KCP2 is equal to 1.37 KCP1, so it will be equal to 1.37 KCP1 minus KCP1, which is equal to 0.371, and the near about answer to this given by NTA is 0.32, that is option 1. 0.324. Moving on to next question. Question number 9. Question number 9 says that this is from the unit ecology, one of the most important units, because maximum number of questions are asked from this unit. And it says that a dwarf forest that occurs in regions with winter rain, summer drought, and is adapted to fire is, and various options are given below. So we need to understand that winter rain, summer drought is first of all characteristic feature of North America, Spain, Chile, France, South Africa. Then they are talking about fire and dwarf forest. So there is a forest called chaparral forest or vegetation, which are found in these regions, and these regions have long dry summers. So this forest, which we call dwarf forest, or we also call vegetations at times, have shrubs or small trees or various herbs, are adapted to fire. How? Because when this region have long and dry summers, the fire is caught very easily and immediately. These forests are resilient to these fires. How? They try to combat. These forests are resilient to fire and grow again. They leave. Basically, what they do is when the forest catches fire, they all burn out. And when they burn out during these episodes of fire, these seeds which they left behind remain dormant in unstable condition and starts germinating in stable conditions, thus reforming the lost forest. That's why our answer will be option number 1, chaparral forest, and its explanation is attached by our team below. Next question would be question number 10. Again from ecology, again very important question and highly asked question. Question number 10 says, high juvenile mortality is characteristic feature of, and 4 options are given below. Now, there are 2 kinds of species or populations mainly. One is known as K-selected and other is known as R-selected. K-selected, for example, elephant, have some characteristic features which is different from R-selected. They are basically large in size, have more parental care, have less offsprings, and low juvenile mortality. While R-selected species, for example rats, dogs, etc., they are small in size generally, have less parental care, and also produces many low effort babies. However, each of these youngs has a high probability of mortality. Means high juvenile mortality is there in this because of more number of babies, more litter, which we call it in scientific terms, and less parental care. There is high juvenile mortality, and hence the characteristic feature of R-selected babies. And that's why our answer would be option number 1, R-selected population. And with this, let's stop today's discussion over here. We will meet in next session. Thank you.